That'll be informative, and we're going to skip the safety minute because what I told Phil is he'll incorporate safety into his demonstration, so you'll get your safety there. We'll take a short refreshment break after the demonstration, come back for our challenge, which is the turn a birdhouse ornament based on the demo by Barry Randolph. It looks like we've got several examples here. Thank you. And then we'll go on to our show and tell project presentations by members. So getting right into it, I'm going to go into our club announcements this month. They're pretty short. We had a fun time turning tops at the Cobb Valley Farm Tour. Mike Erickson, I don't see Mike here today, but he coordinated 2 days of turning tops and selling tops at the Pendleton's Country Market in Lawrence. We had good weather, and it sounded like he had plenty of volunteers to help him out. So we had some fun out there. I went out there Sunday afternoon, and it was a nice day. Ed Jasic single-handedly set up a tent for the last First Fridays in October. So Ed got through it. He said that there was a lot of traffic. I think there was a concert that weekend or that night, maybe. A lot of traffic, but not a lot of buying. They were kind of just wandering. Did want to say this was the last First Fridays event for this year. It runs April to October. And the event does provide good exposure for our club. We talked to a lot of people about our club and where it is and memberships to the club. Club was able to make our booth fees back and plus a little bit of money. And then the individuals that sold items there were able to make some money on that too. So it was a fun event, and it was, like I say, good exposure. We're wanting to continue the First Fridays event. We'd like to set the tent up all from April till October next year, but I think we're going to probably try to encourage more membership participation and give some folks that want to sell their items and help with the tent sales an opportunity. Maybe we'll get a sign up or something going at before the event next year. Members have grown slightly. We went from 114 members to 119, or 115 to 119. So we gained 4 or 5 new members the last month. That's good. Kevin, did you by chance bring any of the mallets?
I forgot.
Okay. Mike Erickson has made some mallets that we do plan on having at the meetings. They're made out of a hard plastic that you just can't beat up. And we're going to sell them for $30 each, and all the money goes to the club. But in lieu of that, Don Frank has brought in some more nice hackberry cuts over there. The smaller 2 pieces are $10. The larger 2 pieces are $25 each, all going to the club. So if you want to help out, that'd be a great way to do it. Let's see, this month's challenge drawing winner will win 2 $10 craft supply gift certificates. So if you're in the challenge, make sure you pull a number and drop a number, and we'll get you in that drawing. Dollar sweepstakes winners will get to choose from several great prize options, including, but not limited to, the infamous multimeter. And we've got a couple other things that we've added in here. I think the face mask has been here, so we've got another small face mask giveaway. We've got a candle snuffer with some bottle stopper blanks. They're going to go together. I threw out an Echo Dot that was hanging around the house for a long time. We've got the disc sander sanding disc holder, and for the grandchild that you want to go out there and inspire to be a woodturner, we've got a small T-shirt there for you. So those are the things you get to choose from tonight with the dollar sweepstakes. So you have a chance to buy a few tickets. Lastly, and I kind of went through everybody that was here early. If you haven't already gotten an emergency contact sticker, they're over there on the table with the dollar sweepstakes prizes. And all we want is people to put them on the back of their name tags and put your emergency contact information. So if you're in the shop, anything terrible happens, we'll have somebody an easy place to reference to get somebody called. No designation of an organ donor. No. Kevin also has printed out some special I demoed and iron turner stickers. They're little stickers like this that go on your name tag as a kind of a badge of honor. You guys have seen Ohio State football's helmets all stickered up when they, do a good job. That's what your name tag should look like. So if you have demoed this last year, or if you were one of our iron turner recipients, see Kevin, he'll get you a sticker.
Iron Turners have been given out.
Huh?
Iron Turner stickers have been given out.
Okay. So
I still have some, I demoed for KC Woodturners stickers.
So if you've demoed, get yourself a sticker. Let's see, Kevin has also successfully rolled out, and I hope you've seen it, our updated website. Thank you, Kevin. It looks good. It's very clean. It's easy to manipulate or maneuver around it. So go check that out if you haven't seen it already. And I wanted to once again thank Brian Bartelli for the production of the Wood Chips newsletter. It was nice to see this past month, and I'm glad to have it back. So thank you. And from Phil, if you'd like your work featured on the KCWT Instagram and or Facebook social media pages, please email photos and a description to Phill Sikes at phillsikes@gmail.com, or you can also tag or mention our account, which is at KC_Woodturners, or invite us to be a collaborator on your post. Now, if you are in social media, you might understand what I just said, but I don't really understand too much of that. If you have any questions, though, reach out to Phil. I'm sure he'll help you out. But it's a great way to, throw out a nice project that you've got, give a little bit of exposure to what we do here at the club and keep things freshened up there. Social media is great exposure for a club, and you'll hear me repeating exposure and community contact constantly, because I think that's what builds our membership and keeps new faces coming in. Okay, October brings around the presentation of the slate of officers for next year. You all are going to see some very familiar faces and names because we really didn't change anything. President is me again. But quite honestly, you guys need a new president, let me tell you. Vice President Mike's going to still work with Mike Thomas, Mike again. Treasurer Kevin again. Secretary, I don't see Elizabeth. Is she here tonight? Elizabeth and Calvin Wright are still going to do our secretary job. And thank you, Brian Bertelli, for stepping up and being our wood chips editor. And then we've got several at-large members on our board. Sue Bergstrom, Mike Erickson, Ed Jasic, Anthony Harris, Bill Paulo, and Ann Molina, who zooms in or comes in online from Texas and joins us.
She's online tonight.
Okay, so I would like next year to encourage more members to become at-large board members. We've had the same board basically for about the last 3 years. I think we need some influx of new ideas. We need some new perspectives. So if you have opportunity or availability on the first Monday of every month for a 2-hour meeting, come join us and see what we do and see where we're at as a club. And you learn a lot. So I want to encourage other members that haven't ever been on the board or haven't served on the board to participate next year. Any member can run for an officer position. If you want to run for one of the positions, let one of the board members know, let me know. If there's a position that you would like to run for, we'll get you on the slate. The reason we present the slate in October is because in November we vote as a group to approve that. And that's, based on the bylaws. Voting to confirm the officers will take place in November. The board would like to encourage each more at-large member. Sorry, I'm repeating myself. If you would be interested in being an at-large member, please see me or Mike, and we'll get you lined up. New board members bring new ideas and keep the club from becoming stale. open shop, nothing new there really, available every Saturday morning from 8:30 till 12 or after if we got somebody sticking around. Wednesday nights and Thursday evenings from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. with the exception of the third Wednesday of each month, which is the guild meeting, so we don't turn on that night. Help keep it clean, use the doorbell on the back door if you're locked out, you know somebody's in there. Please report any equipment problems to the board. And detension the bandsaw after you use it and set it to the partial tension setting, not the fully untension setting. And I wanted to thank all the members. We had several that showed up for the last shop cleanup in September. And thank you guys for being there and helping out. That was nice. We thought we were getting ready for an open house, but the open house was canceled before we even had the shop cleaning. So, help wanted. Let's see. I want everybody to please consider helping with club activities, great opportunities to meet new people on top of wood turning. And I want to thank all the members that have helped turn the tops over the last year. We had a lot of tops, and we've got a lot of tops available for Santa's workshop now. So we're in good shape. I feel good about that. And it's a very good variety too. The big thing that's coming up will be the Santa's workshop. We will join up with the guild again this year. That'll be Saturday and Sunday, November 22nd and 23rd. That's the weekend before Thanksgiving. I'm sure we'll need members to help sell items, to drill holes in the trucks, and there's always things for people to do that could help the guild out too. So if you have opportunity that weekend, please consider helping out. We'll probably get a sign up genius or something going out to kind of fill up the 2 days.
You want to sell something. If you want to sell something, it's a great opportunity to sell your stuff.
They're going, as I understand it, Kevin, correct me if I'm wrong, that the guild is going to offer up people's opportunities to have tables, and I don't think the guild's going to take any percentage.
No, they're not, but we will.
Okay.
We'll have to take credit card sales.
Okay.
So we'll have the credit card machine. We'll get it all set up for that. So we have to charge because our credit card stuff charges us. And anyhow, the guild is going to want a part of that.
So as we get a little bit more information, we'll probably be sending out an email with more info on that. But it's a fun event. I've done it for about every time that they've had it, and I've done both days. And I go home exhausted. I had a smile on my face because all the kids and everything. I need all the kids that come through here with a smile. They're excited. That's a true Santa Claus that comes out and watches the football game with us. That's great. So please consider that. And again, more information to follow as it's revealed to us. Upcoming events outside of Santa's workshop, which is also listed here. We got Brian Berkeley is going to demonstrate the emerging bowls to us in November. I'm excited to see that because I've always wondered exactly how that happens. And then in December, obviously, we'll have our annual holiday party, and I hope to see everybody there in December. I think everybody is pretty familiar with Phill Sikes. He is our safety guru, and he's demonstrated for us several times, but he's coming to us tonight with some items that he picked up from the symposium this year, and he's going to have a little bit of talk about some AAW information as well. So I'm going to let Phill take it over. Please give him a hand.
Thank you, Chris. Good evening, everybody. Hey, my slide is up there, right? I get sucked into the metal lathe. There we go. Thanks. Rob always puts back in it. Thank you, Rob. We're going to skip the safety minute. Actually, my only plug for a safety minute is if you're interested in the microclimate powered respirator, I have one over here. Please don't put it on. But you're welcome to look at it, ask me questions about it. If you'd like 10% off your purchase, there's a little card right there. And you can get 10% off yours as well. Super handy, great for keeping your lungs clean, especially if you're doing dusty things like carving, sanding, all those certain things. A respirator that hugs your face and makes your face all sweaty is great, but something like that keeps you nice and cool, doesn't make you all sweaty, and keeps your lungs clean. So that's my little pitch for the microclimate air-free powered respirator. You too can get yours But let's skip that. Tonight, Mike asked me to talk a little bit about my experience demonstrating at the AAW Symposium in Minnesota this past year. And then we also thought, well, maybe we could show a little bit of video from a demonstration that I've done. That I may have happened to have done at the AAW Symposium. So we're going to show a little bit about that video. But first, I just want to talk a little bit about symposiums in general. Who here has been to an AAW Symposium? That's pretty good. Who here has been to a non-AAW symposium, such as SWAT, Ohio Woodturners, Ohio Valley Woodturners, there we go, Rocky Mountain Woodturners, Chicago has one, they've got like a pen training one, and then they've got another one that I can't remember the name. Turn on Chicago, there we go. So there's a whole bunch, and that's just here in like the Midwest that we have probably 5 or 6. Tennessee, out in California, on the East Coast, there's all these smaller ones throughout. And from my experience, all of the symposium that I have seen are really geared for all of you. Anyone at any level, I would say the AAW Symposium this past year was really geared towards people who are new to woodturning or intermediate woodturners. They certainly have some advanced things, and those were some kind of fun things for me to see. But I would say the majority of people that were there and the majority of content was geared towards people who've been turning just a little bit or for a while and wanting to really learn some new skills. And the main thing was really just to meet a lot of people, to learn about woodturning and all different aspects, and be able to connect with people who are maybe not here in this room, and to learn about woodturning that they've never seen before. There was a lot of really cool demonstrations from different people who were showing techniques that I had never really seen before, or only seen a video on YouTube somewhere. Didn't really know if that was, a thing. But it's a really cool event to go to. So some of the things that happen at symposiums, let's see here. The AAW Symposium had, 60 plus demonstrations. I think there was like 65 demonstrations over 3 days, 20 plus demonstrators. And usually the symposium will have a couple like headliners. Like this year it was Alain Millard from France, who's phenomenal. And I went to 3 of his different talks about his work. And that was really, I think, the highlight of the event for me was actually when I went to so I got to demonstrate this year too. I was a regional demonstrator. And when I went to go to the demonstrator orientation, I'm sitting on the couch. I got there a little early, so there's not a lot of people there. And this guy sits next to me and he says in a French accent, "Hello, what's your name?" I said, "My name's Phill." And he said, "Oh, okay." I said, "What's your name?" He said, "My name is Alain." And Rick had talked about him before I actually went there, and I knew who he was. I had seen his work, but he sat down and we just started talking. And I was just amazed at how accessible a lot of these people are. Now, Mike Mahoney will not remember your name because I think I told him my name 5 or 6 times throughout the weekend. And finally, by the end, I think he remembered it. And I also realized that I had to say my entire name, Phill Sikes, so that people would actually know who Phill Sikes is. Because I usually introduce myself and say, "Hi, my name's Phill." And in the woodturning world, nobody knows who Phill is. But is anybody on Instagram in this room? A couple? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you're on Instagram and you are in the woodturning circle, you probably know who Phill Sikes is. That's me. And I started introducing myself as that. People are like, "Oh yeah, I'm this person or that's such and such." And I got to meet so many people that I have met virtually for the past 5, 10 years or so, in person, and have conversations and go out to lunch with or grab dinner with and just make new relationships with it. And that was so much fun for me to do too. So 60 plus demos, 20 plus demonstrators. We had a giant trade show with I think like 60 different vendors that were there bringing all sorts of things, new and old. And for you to see, there were things that were not even on the market yet that I got to see, or I even missed seeing, and it's kind of sad by missing it. And there's deals of all kinds that they do right there. And if you want your name laser engraved on Thompson tool handle, Mr. Thompson, I can't remember his name. Doug will do it right there for you. You can put whatever you want to on it. So, Doug Thompson, yeah. So a huge trade show. They've got a young person's section. If you have young people in your life, whether those are grandkids, nephews, nieces, children, grandchildren, whatever they might be, bring them to an AAW symposium, sign them up for the demo or for the lathe raffle, and there's a real good chance they're going to go home with a lathe. Because there were, I think, only 8 or 9 kids that showed up, and they all went home with a lake. Yeah. So in fact, I was on my way to the airport trying to put my bag in the back seat of or the trunk of a car. A friend that said, "Oh yeah, I can drive you to the airport." And she's got a lake in the back for her son, who's in the back seat, and we shoved my bag in there and went to the airport. But there are all sorts of cool things like that for young people. And really the AAW's mission, I didn't even know it until this, their mission is for education and outreach. So education of all ages of people, young and old, and outreach to all sorts of people who have never heard of woodturning before, just for the exposure of it, whether it's coming to a club like this or an event that you might see something woodturning at. That's their primary goal, is to educate people about woodturning and to reach more people about woodturning as a craft and art form. Let's see, what else? Oh, okay. So they usually have showcases and exhibitions. The member gallery was there, and that's a juried gallery where you can submit your work, and then a panel of judges will select different pieces of work for that. There is the pop exhibition, which is usually up and coming woodturners who have qualified again for that for a jury submission to show their work and be a part of the program as well. There is also the instant gallery, and I think the instant gallery was probably my favorite thing of the event, because everybody here can bring a couple pieces and put them on display and be there all day long to talk about. So I got to see a lot of work in person from people whose work I've admired for a long time, and actually see their pieces in person, talk to them about it, how they do that. And that event stood up throughout the entire thing. So if you're between sessions, you just go down, walk through the instant gallery, see something new that you've never seen before, talk to somebody. They also do critiques. So if you can sign up to have your work critiqued by like Michael Hossela or Mike Mahoney, or some of these people who have been around the block with their pieces and really know a lot about form, about shape, about all these different things. And they can give you a critique on your work to let you know kind of where you're at. I think it's a really valuable part of the symposium as well. I would just find myself going back to the instant gallery when I was just kind of worn out and needed a break. It's nice, kind of quiet, and just see some really good stuff. Yeah. Okay, so they had tables that were like big full-size tables. There were 7 or 8 wide or so, and then there were probably like 15 or 16 rows full. So at least a few hundred pieces, probably in the 1,000 range, I would say. Rick, I don't know if you hundreds.
They've had one,
Yeah,
but they are building back up.
they are.
Okay, so COVID really killed everything. So it's been kind of a slow road back.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of old guys and hungry. So, you know, keep it up.
Mhm.
John Jordan, right?
Yeah.
And so anyway, they're really trying to grab young people and get them going and start.
Sure.
The instant gallery is really impressive.
Yeah.
That's probably always been.
Yeah.
And
Cool.
then taking the class with a lot.
Oh yeah.
For a week.
I really want to do that.
I think he is the greatest wood artist.
There's a picture in this book. Rob, can you go the overhead real quick? If I can get it. And I'm going to pass this book around. This is the book from the symposium this year, which has all the different demonstrators and just a few pictures. But if you look at this picture right here, he has strapped a long piece of wood on a giant faceplate using chains and another like apparatus to like hold it in a certain angle, so he can make these small little flower-like shapes on it, which he then carves. Elaine went through this whole
Move your book one more time.
There we go. He went through this whole presentation on how he does his work. And I wasn't expecting just like the depth of thought that goes into his work. And he basically has this old big lathe that I think at one point had like a car engine attached to it and weighs, you know, a ton. And he will attach things to the lathe in such unique ways to make these pieces. And you don't get to see this unless you go take a class with somebody like Errol Mott or another school like Johnson Campbell, or you come to the AAW Symposium or another symposium like SWAT, and you get to really see them talk through their history. I mean, he's got 40 years of photos and ideas, and maybe more than 40, of how he does things. It was just kind of mind blowing, you know. And then on the other side, you've got, you know, Jim Eicher that we had a couple of years ago, showing us the five cuts of wood turning, how to use a skew. And he's there doing his skew class, and which is again a phenomenal class. I'm not gonna be able to find the page, but you get a huge breadth of how do you do a basic cut with the skew all the way through. At year 40, this is what he's doing, how he is strapping things with chains to a lathe and creating these beautiful pieces. So there's such a breadth that is able to be shared and shown at the symposiums. Here we got Michael Hosseluk, and we just happen to be on that picture right there. These are so cool to see in person. He turns these, he colors them, he does all these different kind of techniques to them to just make these odd. This is a box actually, this odd kind of twirling box. And then he also does other kind of really cool things too. There we go. Yeah, and so to be able to see these in person. Here, I'll just show these. There we go. I'm going to pass this around. But there's so many cool things in this book from all the different people who shared and showed different things here. And if you look in the front, you're going to see like some of the schedule, and the schedule can seem a little bit daunting. They even have an app that you can get on your phone when you're there, so you can figure out, okay, what do I want to do? What do I want to see? And it made it really easy that everything was all mapped out, and you could be like, all right, I want to go to this one at this time, this one at this time, and help get you everywhere you need to be. It's actually a fairly like small, closed spot. You know, when you're in there, there's I think 5 or 6 different rooms. There should have been 6 or 7 different rooms that they have running with demonstrations, 4 demonstrations per day in each room. So do the math somewhere else. Hour and a half. So it's an hour and a half. They technically say an hour for the demo and then 30 minutes for questions, but it always ends up being basically just an hour and a half of demo and questions. And then depending on how much cleanup you got to do, you got to get out of there because the next person's coming in. And they've got it really down to a science. Like all my stuff was on a cart and a table, and they would literally come in, pick up the table, move it to the next room I'm going to be in, or off to the storage area if I wasn't going to another thing right away. And it's a really well-run machine. Much like, I've not been a SWAT, but I assume SWAT's the same way, where it's a very well-run program. They've done a lot, and they're able to really pack a lot in that period of time. But as a spectator, because I only demonstrated, I did a couple sessions, and then I was a spectator the rest of the time. I got to walk around and go to demos just like everybody else. And I found that I didn't actually sit through a whole lot of demos except for LA's. I ended up just walking into a whole bunch, sitting for a little bit, seeing what's going on, and then going to the next one. They probably don't want you to do that, but if you sit in the back, nobody knows. Oh yeah. They've got, and when I show my video too, you'll be able to see the camera work is phenomenal. They usually have 3 cameras on you, or 2 cameras on you, so they can get multiple angles. They can change the view depending on what you're doing, from an overhead to a tailstock to a front camera view. And they've got big screens, larger than this one here, and they've got multiple set up, and on the larger rooms, they've got multiple set up throughout the room, so you can sit anywhere. And most of these will seat anywhere from 150 to 250 or 300 people for the bigger rooms. And it was great to walk into my demo at 8 a.m. and there was like 100 people sitting in chairs when I walked in because I ran in late, getting there in the morning. Apparently Saturday is not a week of the day, like a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and my alarm didn't go off on Saturday. But I made it to my demo on time. I got set up and I got great. I only got heckled by an 11-year-old. All the adults were fine. It was a fun time. I know the 11-year-old that I got heckled by. It was fun. Anyway, so other fun things about symposiums, or specifically AAW, they do auctions. And so this is a fun way to raise money for various organizations. Sometimes it's for the AAW, sometimes it's for the local chapter or other things as well. So as a demonstrator, I got to include pieces in those auctions, which is a lot of fun to see your piece go up and get auctioned off and someone pays money for it. That's great. And then I get some of that money and then most of it goes towards the organizations, which is great. There's a banquet and the food was actually pretty good, I gotta say. The food is pretty decent for the banquet. And they do various awards and speeches and things like that for the different events. So a lot of the things to get into the AAW Symposium are jury critiques and things like that. And so they hand out awards for those kinds of things during that time as well. One of the coolest things for me was just being able to hang out with people. And I got to see like Wendy Lithgow, who used to be here at our group, and her dad is, what's his name? Wendy's dad, multi-axis Woodturner from Chicago. Clint, there we go, Clint. Randomly, Wendy and Clint just walked up to me and said, "Hey, Phil, how you doing?" And I was just like, "Hey, Wendy." And Clint, and they had come to my demo, and I didn't even know they were there. And they came with a whole bunch of people from Chicago, and I got to hang out with them, and we all went out for dinner after that and had fun. And so you get to meet a lot of people, or just run into people maybe that you know from different events. So anyway, I want to get to showing part of this stuff here, but the last thing I want to talk about is, so there's an executive director for the AAW. Her name is Gretchen Wilbrandt. She is new to the AAW, but not new to nonprofits. She's run some other nonprofits. And I got to sit down with her for like an hour and a half waiting for my flight with another guy. We were just talking about the future of the AAW. And I want to encourage you, if you're not already a member of the AAW, join, just so you get the magazine. I think the magazine is well worth the cost of membership. It's one of the best publications that I get. It's actually the only publication I get to my mail, besides the cost publication. But it's got great content in there, and a lot of the content that they're going to be producing going forward is going to be a real focus on club submissions and club information, as well as more local features on Woodturners that are actually in the AAW and participating in the work. I think for a while they were like really featuring all these people from all around the world, and I think they want to kind of bring it back a little bit to the American Association of Woodturners and feature more people from our organization. So I encourage you to check that out. And Gretchen was really pointing about wanting to return to the educational part of the AAW, the outreach portion, and working with clubs just like ours, and kind of getting more clubs active and working with the AAW as a whole as well. So I'm really excited to see what she does and what some of the new board members do as well. And the last thing, if you ever run into Richard Finley, he likes cricket. You can talk to him about cricket. He and I talked about cricket, the difference between cricket bats and baseball bats for like a half an hour one night. But that's the fun thing about the symposium, is you get to run into somebody like Richard Finley. And if you don't know Richard Finley, he's one of the premier woodturners in England, and he's the CU guy, and he's fantastic. And you can, they're all very accessible to chat with. I know, Anthony, you were there last year, right? Yeah. And I know a few other people have been to the AAW Symposium in the past. We actually hosted it here 17. That was the first one that I went to. I didn't even pay to go in. I just stood outside. 2005 too, here in Kansas City. All right. So probably in a few years we gotta have it back, right? Yeah. But if you have any questions about the AAW Symposium or about why you should go to a symposium, feel free to ask. They're a lot of fun. I got that book going around. Tonight, we're going to talk a little bit about turning green wood. But before that, does anybody have any? I know I just kind of talked a lot. Any questions or comments about symposiums? Yeah.
Quick comment. In 2005, the AAW changed my life. Three things first. I got my one-way, went to the AAW and took a weekend class at Trent Park. From there, so really, the AAW, at least subscribe or join us and get the magazine. The magazine itself is loaded. The stuff is incredible. You get it.
Yeah, it's 5 months, I think it's 6 now. Yeah, it's every other month.
So it just came out. The guy Mexico.
Roberto Guerrero. He's from Mexico, but he lives in Chicago. And so he's part of the Chicago club. Actually, Clint mentored Roberto when he was younger. Fun fact.
Yep.
It is a small world, yeah. And all these people are super accessible, like Trent Bosch, you mentioned Trent Bosch, his daughter Kaylee. Just on Instagram, I just messaged them about something or other, and ever since then, we talk back and forth whenever they're doing the Rocky Mountain Symposium. They're like, hey, do you want flyers? I'll be like, yes, send me flyers and stuff like that. So a lot of these people are very accessible and more than willing to answer questions and things like that, especially in these kinds of settings as well. City was not there this year. She was at SWAT. Yeah, she was at SWAT this year. So she was not there. Ashley Harwood was there with her whole crew, which is a big deal now. She's got a little child now. And we were in the same room together. So she made a mess and then they cleaned it up and I came in and made a bigger mess. And then they cleaned up and she came back and made another mess. So, yeah, she's really great. She's got her whole tool line and everything like that as well.